Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly watch list where we go over all our setups that we're looking at into the week, as well as coming into Monday morning, as well as earning reports and news for the week. Starting off with earnings as per usual. Nothing really significant this week, honestly, overall. I don't think I have anything here that I have any interest in making a note of. Cintas, Micron, that's it. Honestly, Micron might be the biggest one, and what are we looking at MU for, right? At the end of the day, when we have Tesla and Meta setups coming in this week. Going into news this week, news is actually pretty notable. It's nothing crazy, but definitely some days to be making note of for sure. So coming into Monday, we're going to be having Empire State Manufacturing Index, Flash Manufacturing PMI, Flash Services PMI, 1 at 8:30, and then 9:45 as well, right off falling opening. So something to be aware of for sure. Off Monday. Tuesday, we're looking at core retail sales and retail sales as well as 8:30. And then we're looking at 9:15 right near open capacity utilization rate, industrial production, and at 10 a.m. we're looking at business inventories and an AHB housing market index as well. Coming into Wednesday, we're looking at 8:30 building permits, current account, and housing starts. And then at 10:30, we're looking at crude oil inventories. And later in the day, FOMC speaking. So we do have FOMC this week as well. Thursday, going to be 8:30 a.m. We have final GDP unemployment claims, final GDP price index, and then Philly Fed manufacturing index, and then existing home sales and leading index as well at 10 a.m. And then at 10:30, we have natural gas storage. Friday, we're going to wrap up with core PCE price index at 8:30 a.m., personal income, personal spending, and then at 10 a.m., revised UOM, consumer sentiment, revised UOM, inflation expectations. Again, Friday's going to be one of those days. We've had a lot of really crappy Fridays recently where we're going to want to be one and done, quick when you're open, quick scalp kind of day, nice little 10, 15%, or maybe 20 even if we get a good shot, and just walk away. We just never get good Fridays. And with that kind of news being there, that's just further justification and further reasoning to just walk away, right? Pretty quickly that day. So going into the week, let's start with the markets here. Let's start with ES. We're actually at all-time highs now with ES as well as NQ. We had a major gap up for the quarterly report and finality of last quarter. Going into this, honestly, levels. Can we really talk about them? Not a whole lot, right? I mean, we're going into a week where we just don't really know new levels yet. All we can base off of is what we've always based off of, right? Which is going to be key psychological whole number level. So 6140 likely. We are following now a obvious trend here. If we just shrink this down to the 5-minute, we can just kind of see that uptrend development here and the base structuring up here as well for uptrend, which is obviously going to be expected given the massive, uptrend structured development we've been getting here, obviously in the last, few months and last few quarters of this year with the Trump election, of course, just kind of skyrocketing everything into orbit. Really primarily being Tesla, of course, the share there. So 61.40, 61.35 going to be another consideration as well this week. We're obviously developed a pretty notable just flat top structuring here. So we're already primed up for breakout this week. So it's just going to be interesting to kind of see what we end up getting here, right? That's just going to see something we have to end up seeing. So that's going to be what we're looking at, just upside. I'm not really basing any structure here for downside this week. And the same can be said for NQ as well. Structuring up here at the 22,108 level as well. That's really going to be one of the most significant levels that I can honestly pinpoint. There's nothing else here other than that because it's just key psychological levels now at this point, right? So, I mean, we can really just say like 22,150. That's going to be our next level here to look at. And that's about it. Honestly, there's nothing really too significant here to look at otherwise. So I'm just going to chart that out. There we go. So that's going to be kind of our core setups here this week for the market. Now, when we have main watches this week, we do actually have kind of quite a few. Honestly, it was hard to categorize structure-wise, like how I wanted to rate these. Well, I'm going to start off with kind of just my top picks. I really like the structure on Tesla's going to be #1 coming into Monday as well as this week. Honestly, I'm looking to primarily only trade this stock specifically because of how just it's our main one and our highest win rate and payout for the entire year. Honestly, for most, if you back test your statistical profitability, you can just assess for most of the traders, specifically really in stock hours, that this has just been our best paying stock all year, really for everybody, right next to Meta. So to justify, taking anything else is kind of just, almost obscene if it's not anything more than a B- setup. So For me personally, this is what I'm going to be looking at coming into Monday. I'm looking at 444 through 445 as the initial trade, 446, 447 prize targets, and honestly have a runner to 450 and have that as a potential separate trade, or just add into the original final runner that I have from the 444, 445 trade. Again, we've already talked about this. I've had this happen time and time again with the trades where I already know Tesla and this thing loves to gap up overnight, kind of skyrocket in share purchases. And I honestly think we're targeting 500. I think we'll have a major rejection at 490-ish range, 495. That's just something that's going to need to be seen by them, but I feel like the wall is going to be significant there, and this is just all about killing out the shorts that have really been tanking on Tesla. So looking at that as the main trade going into Monday, looking at the second trade here, honestly, hard conflict to kind of really discern. I really do like NVIDIA. Structuring up to the downside, this is a bit far here, but I do like the 132 level here. If we do break this down over to the 1 hour chart, we can kind of see this is a beautiful now triple bottom basically development that we're starting to have formation here with. And it's honestly just going to be up to kind of how it ends up going. I think this is really going to be a clean setup. I'm not looking to take this early at all. I'm looking to take this very close to the level below the 54-cent support level. And honestly, probably crack down probably to 20 cents. Once we're below there, I'll look to take position and then target 131.80 as the initial break, scale out of probably a third of my position, and then the additional third at 50 cents or at maybe even 131 as the initial final target, and just sell everything there. It's just going to be likely what it ends up doing here overall, but I like the kind of bull flag structured development it's starting to showcase here. If you really see this, if this breaks down correctly, then this is going to be one of my top picks coming into Monday as well. Going into my next setup, honestly, I have it with Amazon and Meta kind of tied. Amazon is really going to be almost higher than Meta here, but Meta is Meta, so I really want to see what the Stock Hours team does with this. I really have a hard time here looking at where I'm at. Personally, I'm just not the biggest fan of this range of being like kind of that consolidation range we've been struggling to break out of. I'm not really seeing anything upside here until about like the 631, 632 area for upside. 630 more so, I guess, than anything, and targeting 131 and 32. But downside, I would definitely like to see like 617 here for sure. 617 through 615 as targets, 616 targets, and have that as a pretty nice downside structure. But I just see that kind of strength divergence against everything else that I really just don't think that's going to come. And honestly, maybe 630 will come by the morning based off how strong the stock really is. We could just see a beautiful, positively divergent stock here. So that's another reason why that's the ambiguity factor there is really factoring into why I'm having this as a high quality potential setup for today as well as this week as well. Amazon going to be my last main watch list for the week. I do have several others. However, those are just my side watches, and I'll say right now it would be Apple as my side 250, AMD 125 downside, and then Coin downside 300. Those are my three side watches, but that's it. Not going to go into them because they're not worth making note of. My final setup here is Amazon. This is going to be my last and lowest quality based off it being actually just Amazon straight up. It's garbage. So this has credible amount of wicking, rejection, lack of continuation, lack of actual follow through. And so this is going to be one of those lower quality stocks for my book. Similar to that of any other kind of shit stock like BA would be, or Coin, Microsoft, mildly, Apple in a sense, AMD, not one of those top three stocks, you know what I mean? So not one of our main boys. So I'm definitely looking to only have this as a major side. If I don't have Tesla or Meta, this is one of those stocks where I really would be 50-50 on, is it worth even taking the risk here with liquidity? And it have to be setting up in the exact way that I want it to be setting up, and not just, it approaches the level and I'm going to swap over to it and take it. That's just not the case with the stock. It's not Meta. It's not Tesla. It's not going to happen. Guaranteed, just about like it is with Tesla and Meta setup. So, the probabilities on these are just so hard to read and so hard to actually identify if they're going to have follow through. So for me, I'm probably going in with this light anyways. Even if it's a Monday, I'll go in with half because of the risk factor involvement of it being Amazon. But aside from that, guys, that's going to be the main watches for this week. So just to reiterate it, we're going to be looking at number one at Tesla at 445, 450 area. Probably throughout the week, we'll look at upside as well. And even if we get some downside structuring, that would be another option. Meta is going to be 617 downside, 625 upside maybe. Really just don't like that chalk range, so I'm really going to say 630 is likely where I'm going to end up considering this, unless like the Stock Hours team says 625 potentially, and I still probably will skip that even if the Stock Hours team likes it. And then obviously we have NVIDIA 132 downside, and then we have Amazon 125, or sorry, not Amazon 125, Amazon 231 upside. And that's going to be it for the week. So guys, let's be smart this week. focus on taking the main watches, go over your journals, assess your back testing profitability, and assess is the risk factor variable valid on taking these subpar shit stocks that we have here that the stock hours team makes note of a lot of the time, like CRWD, AVGO, BA, Coin. What are some other ones? Amazon in a sense, Apple in a sense. All these little small cap companies that are nothing in comparative to that of Meta or Tesla. Nvidia are big boys that we've had so many W's over the year with and maintain serious profitability. Is it even worth taking that liquidity even at a half or third sizing, right? Questions you need to ask yourself to maintain that sharpened edge of being a profitable day trader against the market. You need to ask these questions: is it even worth the risk of liquidity and potentially giving back profits on easily profitable trades and companies to subpar company trades that are just hard to read and have poor contract movement and poor spreads and volatility and so on and so forth, etc. So that's going to be the video for this week, guys. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate it. Always leave a like, comment, subscribe, suggestions, DM me on Instagram, and comment here, any ideas you might want me to do. I'm going to be doing educational videos hopefully soon. Just been very, very busy outside of the market. And I'll see you guys next week, and let's kill it this week. As always, discipline, patience. This is a marathon, not a race. Let's kill it, guys. Peace.